Hopefully this is working and our sound is up and you can hear us. This is the first time we've done one of these virtual tastings. Hopefully this all works. Thanks for joining us. We're going to keep this short and sweet, but we thought, given the fact that we can't entertain visitors in our tasting room and all of the public events next, 2 months for sure have been canceled, what better way to stay connected and keep drinking wine than to do these virtual tastings? So tonight, we thought we'd kick it off with the very first wine we ever made as a winery, and that is the Syndicate. What we have open is our 2017 vintage. That's the current vintage. 2012, so we've got vintages in our library. So hopefully you guys have got a glass. I thought I'd do is take you through a quick taste of how this wine is showing right now. Talk a little bit about it, and we had a couple questions come in. Well, maybe. So our 2017 vintage of 50% Merlot, 31% Cabernet Franc, and 19% Petit Verdot. The vineyards from either Osoyoos on the East Bench side, so that's the really, really hot side. That's where our Petit Verdot comes from. And the Cabernet Franc and Merlot come from a vineyard in North Oliver with southwest exposure. 2017 was an interesting growing season. It's kind of, it wasn't a really hot year, but it wasn't a cool year. We did have a fair bit of smoke in that season, none of which wine, but what it did do was have an impact on the overall or the average temperature of that growing season by sort of moderating that by a couple. Sort of this maybe as a mid sort of growing season rather than super hot or super cool. So what that means for the wine is we've still got ripeness in our fruit, but the alcohol is a little bit lower because our were down from the previous hotter vintages. So it's a very drinkable wine, and definitely with some good cellar potential. So on the nose, definitely fruit forward, sort of currant and red cherry, black cherry even some hints of and of course a cedar or oak, sort of toasted oak tone coming from that from the aromas. This wine we age in exclusively French oak barrels, and we do this for roughly 21 months. Each varietal gets a little bit more, a little bit less time, and of those barrels we use about a third new barrel. What that means is that never been used, it's never seen any wine before, and so it imparts a much greater intensity of those oak and toast flavors. So we don't want to do all of our wine in new barrels because it would be far too oaky, far too so we use a portion of them as new barrels, and then the rest are second fill, third fill, and neutral barrels. So let's have a taste now. Yeah, again, definitely very, very fruit forward. A great structure to this wine. It's really well balanced in terms of the fruit, the acidity, and the tannins. And key components when they're balanced together, that's what's going to allow a wine to age over time. This is definitely a wine that we destine for the cellar. Probably 5-10 years easily before it's really going to hit its peak. Time will tell. Got an extra one, but having those three components in balance is really important for a wine that's you're drinking now or in the future. If any of those things are out of balance, you're likely, that's a good signal that it's time to drink the wine and it's not going to get much better. Yeah, so one of the hallmarks of, in my opinion at least, one of the hallmarks of wine from the Okanagan Valley is that acidity, that vibrancy that comes from our growing conditions and our climate. We have a really, really hot climate here for those that have never been here or haven't experienced many wines in the Okanagan. We're hotter here than let's say, the valley. Our growing season is a little bit shorter, but we have about 2 hours more sunlight every day in the summer, which makes up for about 2 or 3 weeks of growing season in more southerly latitudes. So what you have is a really, really short but intense growing season with really hot daytime temperatures, often well over 30 degrees Celsius. Our wines from this region distinctive is, and that comes from much cooler nighttime temperatures. And so the berries and the grapevines at night will close themselves off, and all that acidity stays in the berry. And it just makes for just absolutely delicious and fresh and vibrant wines. With all of our wines, the style I'm trying to make is, I would say, influenced by classic old world winemaking techniques in terms of structure and the character of the wine. Seeing that really here in southern BC. And you'll see this if you've had the chance to try any of our other wines. You'll see that similar sort of style all the way through from our whites, our rosé, and our reds. And we're going to try and schedule one of these tastings with a different wine each week for the next. Hopefully, this shut in for too much longer. As long as that is the case, we're going to keep doing these tastings every week. We'll announce our Instagram feed in advance what next week's tasting is going to be, and hopefully if you guys have a chance to grab a bottle of this from your local shop or online through our stores, that would be great. A couple questions that we had come in, sort of not specific to this wine, but what are we up to right now in the vineyard, in the winery? A busy time. Spring, late winter, and early spring are very busy in the vineyard. We're getting things ready for the growing season that's coming up soon, which means pruning the vines. In that case, we walk through and every single vine gets trimmed back to cut about 90% of last year's growth away, and leave just enough growth to provide the adequate number of for the coming season. So we're about halfway through that process. Fortunately, we've had some really nice weather here in the Okanagan last couple of weeks, which is definitely helping that. And then in the winery, it's also a busy time because we're bottling our Omerta Rosé on Saturday. So we've been busy, racked, all ready for bottling. So that's going to happen this coming weekend. And so for you rosé lovers out there, our Omerta's been sold out for a while, but we'll look at that one in early April. We had in our tasting room. We're sitting in it right now. It's almost complete and ready to go. In May of this year. We're going to play that one by ear and see how things develop with COVID-19, and hopefully things get under control sooner rather than later. But if you come out and visit us this summer, please just keep in touch and let us know if you're going to be here, and we'll definitely make arrangements to get together with you. So next one, Secret Society. Yeah, so next Thursday we'll do the same time. Thursday Pacific time, and we'll be tasting our 2018 vintage of Secret Society. I hope to see you guys all next week. Cheers.